subscribe on YouTube, and rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform.
There are 4 lights.
Actually, Sir Patrick, you rate in stars, not lights, and it would really help us out a lot more if you'd give us 5.
4 lights.
Okay, jeez, huh? Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
That's us.
Hot out of the gate, Mr. Rob.
We need to have him back.
I was just
Al
thinking
back?
the same thing.
Al. I loved Al.
You
Yeah.
need to have Al back.
Al back. I
Al
want
back,
my Al
back. Gone. It is baseball season.
It is.
Tigers won yesterday.
Again,
Yeah.
Spencer Torkelson is hitting the ball. Welcome to your baseball reviews with the Kardashians. My review,
Torpedo bats, yes, yay or nay?
nay.
Sure.
What?
Why
I
not?
don't care. I don't think it actually makes a big deal. I think it's psychological. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This is Nick.
This is Rob.
This is Joe.
And welcome. As you know, we are continuing our review of Star Trek The Next Generation. We are in the Season 4, The Drumhead and Half a Life. We're nearing the end of Season 4. We're going to talk about episodes in which Picard is berated and a man is castrated to death. And it's going to be exciting. We're going to talk about this in the second half of the episode. As you know, that
I must have missed the castration.
I missed that too.
I mean, he gets killed, so technically, isn't that castration?
No.
He can't have children anymore.
Look at the definition of castration.
It's when you
No, that's
you cut
not
off,
it.
You cut off the
Correct.
the balls, right? So
But you're still very much living
Yes.
most of the time. I would
but they
assume.
don't work.
But you want to
anymore.
die.
But it doesn't work.
But
to
you
make
want to
children
die.
anymore.
That's true.
It's you can't.
I
Make
think that's a.
You can't make babies with a dead body, can you?
I don't know. I don't
Like
think we've
a
had
freshly dead
very
body,
many
maybe.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians investigates.
necrophilia.
Oh gosh. So
The ins and outs of necrophilia.
yeah.
The pros and cons. The pros
The
and
ins and
cons.
outs and ins and outs and ins and outs. Necrophilia. We'll talk about that.
No, we won't.
No, not that. We're going to talk about Star Trek in the second half. The first half, we usually catch up on news and everything that's going on. And we have quite a few things to talk about today, from the Minecraft movie to Nintendo Switch stuff to
Comic books.
Hush. And there's a new Batman Hush series that's
How
come out.
dare
So
you.
We're going to talk about that. We got some other things too.
Sure.
And Detroit Tigers. We're not going to talk about them on here, but you know.
Can we start with something though?
Yeah.
Get it. I
Yeah.
don't mean get it out of the way, but
Yeah.
I think this is very important.
How does that feel?
Very, very.
Plasticky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's
It
very
hasn't been
shiny.
washed yet,
I
so
don't know how I feel
is
about
very
that.
shiny.
Yeah, it's
I like it.
super shiny.
I do like
It's
it.
got pockets.
it's got pockets for
It's
days.
new era too. That's I like that old Tigers
Pockets are
logo.
separated?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. All right, what were you going to talk about?
I think we should start here, and it's because Batman makes everything better. And when you lose a Batman, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
And Val Kilmer died since our last show.
Mm-hmm.
We did not kill him. That was the world. That was the universe.
that was. How did they announce he passed? I know he had the throat cancer and everything, but do we know what caused him to die?
I believe it would be the throat cancer.
No, I thought he was cured of the throat cancer. Like he lost his ability to speak. But
Yes.
I don't think he was.
he died from a pneumonia.
Okay.
So probably exacerbated by
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when they have the tracheotomy, get pneumonias very easily.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's probably what it was. Poor
But-
guy.
He was a unique dude.
Yes, he was.
He was a very good actor, despite his status as Batman.
Yes.
He wasn't a bad Bruce Wayne, though.
He wasn't great either.
No, but
I-
that was a script. That wasn't him.
It
But
could be the script and the direction as well.
I think he gave an interview where he said like his portrayal of Batman was I don't want to misquote him, but like he didn't think he did as good a job as he could have because of he was surrounded by such talent otherwise that it sort of like stole the show, and a lot of times he was just kind of standing in awe of
Like Jim Carrey.
yeah.
And Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
And
Tommy Lee Jones
Nicole
was terrible in the
Kidman.
movie.
Yeah, he was.
It was terrible.
And
in
he
that movie.
hated Jim Carrey in that movie.
But a lot of times
To
he
this
was just
day,
kind
they
of like
hate each
standing around and
reacting to them. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, when you lose a Batman, he's Iceman.
He's Iceman.
For God's sake.
Yeah, if you just watch that movie, you could see just it was just good acting. It was just he really was that role, and it was nice. It was.
He was in Heat.
Yep.
He did The Doors.
He was Jim Morrison.
He was Jim Morrison. What was the movie where he played like the Western one?
Tombstone.
Tombstone's
so good.
Top Secret, his first movie from 1984. Where the
Real
comedy
Genius.
Movie. Yep. Yeah. He had a good career. He had a good run actually. If you look at like 93 Tombstone, then he did Batman Forever, then Heat. And then he had The Ghost in the Darkness and The Saint. Those were all hits. I remember that. He had a stinker in there on the island of Dr. Moreau. And then he did Prince of Egypt at First Sight, where the blind guy gains vision. And then his career kind of went off the deep end. It did not go too well. But
when was he diagnosed with throat cancer?
That's a great question. I do not know.
He played the voice of Kit in the Knight Rider revival series in 2008.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't think I realized that. It was not a very good show, by the way.
That's no slight to.
Oh no, not at all.
2015.
It wasn't his fault,
by the way.
That's right. Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah,
might have been one of my favorite one of his movies.
That's a good movie. But 2015, he was diagnosed with throat cancer. So
where are we at? Okay.
99.
Yeah.
He was in Prince of Egypt.
Tombstone. True Romance.
Romance. Heck yeah.
True Romance was a good one.
Doors. Willow.
Willow's a classic.
Real Genius.
Yeah.
So just a great filmography altogether.
Yeah. Solid
good movies. Solid
career.
Good movies.
Yes.
There are some bad movies in there. But, I mean, what actor doesn't, right?
I think a lot of actors that have a career as thorough as his, you're gonna make some stuff that, and then eventually you age out of like being the actor, and then you got to make stuff that either probably is going right to streaming or DVD at the time or whatever.
Well, let me think about that because let's look at Jack Nicholson for kicks here. Did Jack Nicholson have a? Now the problem is I won't know his early career stuff because
here's the thing. I'm not an idiot. I'm not gonna put. Well, I am an idiot, but I'm not gonna put Jack Nicholson and Val Kilmer on the same pedestal.
Right. I'm just
if Jack Nicholson's he's an A-list all-time great celebrity actor. If he's an A, I would say Val Kilmer's a B minus.
B minus, yeah, that's where I would put him. Yeah,
not quite a C-list celebrity, but he's not like a. I don't know. He was fine. Like he was good. He's a good actor.
Yeah. I didn't realize he stopped acting in 2010. Jack Nicholson.
I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah, he hasn't made a movie since then, and that includes like TV appearances and stuff like that.
What year was it Departed? 2009?
2006.
2006?
And then he made two movies
Holy
after that,
crap,
The
we're
Bucket
old.
List and How Do You Know? And that was it. And then he was done. And leading up to that, he did like Anger Management, Something's Gonna Give, About Schmidt, As Good as It Gets. Like
those are
actually
really
As Good as It Gets was 97.
Yeah, As Good as It Gets is
Man,
so good.
holy crap.
He hasn't, he was smart. He didn't overdo movies actually from the looks of it. Like, oh my gosh, in 1 year he did A Few Good Men and Hoffa. Like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Good.
And Batman 1989, Jack Napier. Who do you trust?
Money.
Batman. It all
This
comes around
town
to
needs an enema. Bob, this town needs an enema.
Random
What do
quotes.
you most associate Val Kilmer with? When
Batman
you-
Forever.
I would say The Doors, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Because
I would-
he embodied Jim Morrison in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say
love,
Iceman.
Well, I'd
For
love
me,
to-
it's Iceman.
Iceman.
I'd love to say Top Gun, but Batman. It just has such a big thing in my life, especially around that time
It
frame.
does, but he's so like.
Oh yeah.
There have been so many better Batmans, and he's like.
Oh yeah.
He's probably second from the bottom.
I wonder what would he have looked like. as
Worst is
Batman?
easily Ben Affleck.
No, the worst is easily George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney. Was.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Clooney
so
was
then
terrible.
he's third from the bottom.
See, I don't think Batfleck was that bad. I think the material was that bad.
He doesn't have the
Riz.
No, he doesn't have
Tell
bat riz.
Tell that to his dating resume. He's got the riz.
No, he doesn't have bat riz.
Yeah.
He doesn't
He feel like Batman. I
think it was a lot of the material was the issue with Ben
Yeah.
Affleck.
Clooney was a bum.
But Clooney was garbage.
Clooney was garbage. I think it'd be interesting to see Val Kilmer in 89 or 92 Batman.
No, it wouldn't work.
I'm just saying it'd be interesting to see how he would translate, though. Like, I don't think it would work either because there was something about the zaniness of Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, right? He played off the eccentric billionaire part really well, whereas Val Kilmer would have been the beautiful billionaire, right? And that's how they changed the character.
Yeah.
He went from being eccentric.
Bruce Wayne had no swagger in Forever.
I think he had swagger in Forever. I don't think Bruce Wayne had swagger in Batman Forever or Batman Returns and Batman.
No, he did. I think him and Michelle Pfeiffer had great charisma.
Him and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah. I don't know. I go back and forth. I don't know.
What do you guys think? 734-494.
494-0980. Rest in peace.
Rip.
Val Kilmer.
Forever my wingman.
Forever.
Aw.
In other news, Nintendo this last week officially announced the Switch 2.
Yay.
They made the announcement. They said the pre-orders are going to start on April 15th. And then they said, nah, never mind, because we have someone who's trying to destroy our world.
What day was the Direct?
April 15th.
No. The Nintendo Direct. What was
Liberation
the date?
Day. April 2nd. Liberation Day. And guess when?
Can you not call it Liberation Day?
That's what he called it.
I know. Can we not, though?
I know. So, anyways, he announces...
Liberated from what? Our money?
Yeah. Yes.
What are we doing?
Oh, my gosh. And the blind support of it drives me nuts. Anyways, that's a whole other story. So, Nintendo Switch announces the Switch 2, which has some noticeable improvements. But to me...
What are the improvements?
It has a number 2 on it.
Bigger screen, bigger controllers. The controllers are now magnetic instead of click and place.
Oh, that's nice.
The controller can work like a mouse now. So, like, if you want to play a first-person shooter on there, it'll be easier to use like a mouse. You can share games now with your friends online, which was Nintendo was originally thinking about doing that, where you could send over the key card, like send the license over, and they can play the game, and then you wouldn't be able to play it. Then you get
kind of like when you had the PlayStation Network, you could sign on under someone else's name and just basically play their games.
I mean, you can still do that.
Oh yeah, you can
theoretically.
It's just like lending a physical game to somebody. You can't play that game if you lend it to somebody else.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's what they're adding to it. Now, they originally announced the price at $449.99.
A cool $450.
Where physical, and then the game cartridges, which are now called game key cards, are priced at $90 for the physical copy, and the digital copy is $80.
Let's start with price point. $80 for a digital copy, $90 for a physical copy. That's a lot of money to play Mario.
Okay.
That's a ton of money.
Is it?
I don't.
Is it?
I think you get some value out of that.
It's not. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I just pulled up Super Nintendo prices. Prices for Super Nintendo games. Super Paperboy or Paperboy 2.
Yeah.
How much do you think it cost?
$49.99.
$72.99.
And
what?
And today dollars.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts. How much?
$74.99.
$72.99.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nolan Ryan baseball, the classic Nolan Ryan baseball that we all played and loved. No, $74.99.
So, yeah,
So
adjusted for inflation, the price is fair. Oh wait, you're saying it's not?
Because N64
Adjusted for inflation, I'm saying the prices. Stop complaining about game prices because they haven't really budged in like 40 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Conversely, pull up a
my
PlayStation price for a PlayStation game.
It's the same.
It's $49.99, wasn't it, for the
They were
PlayStation games?
their price points were $59.99.
That's what it was?
And then some would be $69, I think.
No,
I don't think they went up to 70.
70 came with this new generation.
No, it didn't. Super Mario 64 says it did not.
Well, I think N64
Turok.
was always more expensive than everything else at the time.
Are you saying like what they were then or adjusted for inflation?
I'm saying we're getting hung up on more expensive game prices because we've gotten used to a specific price point not changing over multiple decades.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is stop doing that, because if we're adjusting for inflation, the NES costs over $500 at launch. $525.
Yeah, it was priced when it launched as $199.99 to make it competitive with Sony and Sega. The Super Mario 64 was launched at $59.99. But like you said, adjusted for inflation.
No, there were other games. There were N64 games that upon release were like 75.
Oh yeah,
I don't
remember that. I do remember that.
I just don't remember that. Yeah.
Hold on.
I mean, I'm not saying not saying I don't believe you.
I know.
I just don't remember it.
Hold on.
So I guess what I'm really trying to say is
at launch, Nintendo 64 games were typically around $60 to $70.
Okay. What I'm trying to say to you is I agree. I think we're getting too hung up on the price because there's a lot of value to be found in games. Now, like I think about Super Mario 64. I could still play that game to this day. I paid my parents paid $60 for it back in the day. I could still play the heck out of that game. I've gotten hundreds of hours of entertainment. When you compare that to going to a movie for a family of 4, you're spending $100 just to walk into the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 2 hours of entertainment. And then it's done. Video game is.
When we moved to the new studio, the N64 and the Dreamcast get plugged in.
Oh my gosh. But I was thinking about right now I'm playing the game Atomfall. It just came out on Game Pass. And if at launch, like if you didn't have Game Pass, that game would cost you $70.
Okay.
I've put 12 hours into it already. So you're basically, for $70 for 12 hours of entertainment. Think about it that way, like per hour of entertainment.
I bought Hogwarts. Still haven't beat it. So it's taken me. I got 2 years out of that game.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
all right, are we ready for some N64 prices?
Yes.
Sure.
Give them to me.
Wave Race 64, $65.
Okay.
Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, $70.
Yeah, because the Star Wars license, yeah.
Doom 64, $75.
That doesn't surprise me. Doom.
I think this is Turok, $75. Wayne Gretzky Hockey, $75.
Really?
I remember the N64, like when they came out, the prices were crazy at the time.
Blows my mind, man. Like,
So here's some PlayStation prices. They're cheaper. You have mostly $39.99, $49.99, and a couple. There was a Die Hard and Independence Day with $55.
Was that Die Hard the trilogy?
Yes, that's a great game.
Oh, I was just say, have you played that game? Because
Yes.
it is fantastic.
It's so good. It's one of the most underrated PlayStation games there is.
Oh my
played it, yeah.
God, it's fantastic. Like when you're driving around just mauling people over and the blood splashes on your screen, you have to turn your windshield wipers on.
that's awesome.
It was the first game really to do that. It was fantastic. And even Die Hard 1 and 2 were great.
Okay. I never played them, but
Yeah,
I got a PlayStation guy. But
you're one of those.
so
I'm just saying
it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
no, and
I think
there's a lot more development that goes into these games.
Exactly.
too.
You're talking games that cost hundreds of millions of dollars now to develop, which is kind of like, if you've noticed in the game industry, actually over the last 5 years or so, 5 to 10 years, there's been a decline in the quality of games because there's so many hands involved in one game. They try to make it accessible to all, which makes everyone hate it. Whereas before, like you used to, like, this is an action adventure game. It will only be for the action adventure crowd. Now they're like, well, let's get someone who's in the puzzles into this action adventure. And it's like, no, it's not going to work that way. So they
Sounds like the movie
it's
industry.
everything but the kitchen sink. Like that's what Ubisoft does. Everything but the kitchen sink, and it pisses everyone off. Or like if you look at the history of Bethesda games from Elder Scrolls 2 to 5, like they've taken out features to make them more accessible. They've dumbed down their games. And as they've dumbed them down, they became more popular, but they've also become less highly reviewed.
Yes.
So it's like a weird double-edged sword. So anyways, $449.99 for the Switch.
Game Key.
Allegedly,
Which will probably be higher than that.
Yes.
With the tariffs.
Game Key.
Yeah, I know. Dude,
Tell us about the Game Key. Tell
it's
the audience
inevitable.
about the Game Key.
Well, they're saying it's not every single game, but they're saying a majority of their games will carry game key cards because the game won't be on there, just a key for the game.
I feel like
download.
somebody on this podcast said it wouldn't be all games.
yeah, somebody did.
It's going to be
welcome.
most games. You know it's going to be most games.
It's going to be most games.
But it happens that way now. When you buy a physical game and you try to play it the first time, what happens?
It'll be AAA titles that are game keys.
Yeah.
And all the ones that are like...
I could see Mario not being a game key. I could see Mario Kart not being a game key. I could see games like Elden Ring being a key card. I could see games like Cyberpunk 2077 being a key card. Like those sort of big games.
I'm just going to go back and buy older system games.
Do it.
I want to pay for my game. I don't want the license to the game. I want my game.
So on IGN,
Just replay. Here I come.
IGN had a survey of 141,000 voters. 60% said the Switch 2 is too expensive. 4.4% said it was cheaper than I was expecting, and 35% said it's about right. I think it's about right.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the price of the game system. I think $500 is the average rate about now because that's what PS5 was, I think, even, wasn't it?
Yeah, but now we're going to go into the debate whether or not a PS5 is more firepower than a Switch 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
But it's not portable.
It isn't, but
what are you
it's
talking
also...
about? That's not portable? Take it everywhere you go with you.
Yeah.
Thing is massive, man.
Thank you.
No bigger or smaller than the Visitor's book, and you can take that anywhere you want.
That's true.
That used to be mine, too. I sold it to him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you kept the...
Don't say it.
I've told you before,
Xbox.
the big reason is, like, I love my achievement. Like, my gamer score, I've had that for...
It makes me feel nice.
It makes me feel good. I enjoy it. And what is the point of gaming? To feel good, right?
Correct.
I don't play
But,
very often.
Again, price point has largely stayed relatively similar.
It has. It's not...
The only one is the hardware seems to be it goes up in price, but as
we expect them to do more.
But as the market and as
yeah,
like just inflation, as the market, as the economy grows, so do the price points of the hardware. Now, where the software has, like we discussed, largely stayed in a safe range.
Now you could make the argument though of supply and demand, and when the Nintendo came out, the gaming market was not nearly as big as it is now.
Well, it's Atari. I'm kidding.
So you think about units sold, right? Like let's think units sold of an Atari or of a Nintendo versus PlayStation 2, right? The units sold is massively different. So theoretically,
I want you to know that PlayStation 2 came out like
25 years ago. But even like
insane.
Yeah.
You're like, of the new generation, PlayStation 2.
It's a good reference point.
Let me just look up PlayStation 5 sales versus
PlayStation
Nintendo.
2 came out pre 9/11. I'll have you know.
I know. That was a bad example.
It's a good line in the sand to let someone know how long ago something was.
So here's a good example. The PS5 has been out, 3 years? 4 years?
4 years, I think.
Has sold 62 million units.
Wow.
NES in its lifetime, so we're talking like that was before we kept pushing new era, 62 million units. So Nintendo PS5 has already matched what Nintendo did in its entire life, still probably has a 3 to 4 year lifespan left in it, right?
Isn't it wild that the Nintendo only sold that few copies when everybody was crackheads for that thing?
Okay.
Everyone loved their Nintendos back in the day.
Okay, but up to what point was Nintendo selling and recognizing sales for the NES? Because that's not third-party sales.
Oh,
yeah, but that doesn't include third-party sales for PS5s either, right?
No, I know. I'm just saying I don't really think it's that big of a leap.
Yeah.
I don't think I think gaming is bigger. I don't know. I just feel...
Let me look up game sales revenue today versus 30 years ago. That's kind of what I was trying to think of. Okay. In 1995, the game sales revenue, $20 billion. What do you think it was in 2020?
So it's a $20 billion now?
$20 billion in 95.
20 billion.
So
5 billion.
25 years later.
I'm going to say...
A billion.
I'm going to say 250 billion.
So it's a little 165 billion.
Okay.
So the market has gone from 20 billion to 165 billion. So in other words, man,
is that 20 billion in today's dollars? Are those equal dollars?
a great question. I don't know if it says that. I mean, this is the AI overview that pops up on Google, so who knows?
Estimated 20.
Yeah. The revenue was.
I think those are like $95.
They might be, yeah,
but still,
they might be, yeah.
I mean, it's probably only what.
Yeah,
2 or 3 times that, then maybe twice that.
So in 95 it was 20 billion. By 2000 it was 30 billion. By 2020 it was 160 billion. Like, that's an incredible way of looking at it, right? Like how exponentially it grew.
I think we have some numbers to disprove Nick's argument.
Game systems overall, what this is saying, this is from Wikipedia, so we don't know how true it is.
Yeah.
Number 1 is not an Xbox, just for the record, Joe. Putting that out there. It's PlayStation 2.
Everyone had a PS2. I remember that.
Also, it was a great DVD player.
Yes, it was.
And that's what made it such a big seller, because it was the same cost as a DVD player at that time.
PS3 is probably still one of the best DVD players.
And a lot of people owned Xbox 360s and PS3s.
Blu-ray, I misspoke. Sorry.
Or not Xbox 360s. Was Xbox Ones had the Blu-ray and then the PS3. And that's why people would buy them.
Coming out of the blue, Nintendo DS,
that makes sense.
154 million.
And then the Switch.
Switch, that blows my mind.
Almost 151 million.
That doesn't blow my. I mean, everyone got them.
GameCube was 118 mil.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 117. PlayStation 102.
PlayStation released in 94, 102 million. 104
PS3. And what's so funny to think about for Sony, that was because the PS3 was a failure for Sony, and it still sold 84 million units because of the strength of their Asian market as well. And because the 360 won that era, but it still did not sell as many. Yeah. But it was more critically acclaimed. It was.
Well, you got the Halos of the world that came out that helped that out.
Yep.
Some notables. GameCube, 21 million.
That's it. GameCube was a bomb. I do.
Even worse, which I think is criminal. The Dreamcast, 9.1 million only.
The People are still using the Dreamcast.
I love my Dreamcast. Like NFL 2K is still one of the best games that's ever football game ever made out. It's fantastic.
The Wii U only sold 13 million.
After the Wii,
Wii U was a bomb.
The Wii sold. Okay, so the Wii sells 101 million. Hold on, scroll up. Wii sells 101.
Yeah.
Then the Switch sells 150. In between that, the Wii U sells what?
13
million copies.
Yeah, the Wii U was a total bomb because it tried to.
I loved it. I loved the Wii U.
Oh my gosh, it didn't work well.
I liked it.
I know.
I actually liked it. It was
good
innovative. It was different.
It was a mid-generation upgrade, right? And it's not. I mean, you can't argue with that.
I don't really see the Oculus on here.
It's down. It's down. Scroll down.
Is it called Oculus Go?
Yeah.
Only 2 million sold.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Well, there you go.
I also scroll up. There's one that right there. The Master System, 10 to 13 million. Up. The scroll up. Yeah, right there. It's interesting. I didn't think it sold that well.
I just looked. Oh yeah.
Oh, Quest
yeah. The Master System. Yeah. Oculus. I just looked up. 20 million units is what they've sold.
Yeah, Quest 2 is 20 million, so they're calling it Quest 2 on here.
Yep.
N64, only 33 million copies.
Doesn't surprise me because everybody, by that time, Sony had come out and they wanted the CD version of games and not cartridge.
Yeah, cartridges were going out at that point, which is kind of a shame. I still think cartridges can be this, especially now with SSDs and NVMe media, is actually much more efficient than a CD could ever be. But now they've moved away from that altogether.
Yeah, you're not going to see cartridges come back except for your handhelds.
Yeah, exactly.
Because cartridges,
except for a PSP, which had that little.
PSP was also underrated.
I had one of those.
I did too.
Luminous, I played the heck out of that game, man.
The Metal Gear game for PSP was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on.
Yeah, we could talk about that. I could talk about that all day.
Moving on, I want to talk about a little movie that came out this weekend. A little movie that defied all expectations.
Before we do that, what did Snow White do in the box office this week? Let's check.
Oh, you want to do a Snow White box office check-in?
I do.
Hey, next week, give us a city to roast next week, by the way. We want a new city to roast.
No one really commented on our Pawnee roast, did they?
On Pawnee City.
We didn't upset the resident.
The residents.
All right.
Actually, never mind.
Snow White.
No, they're not from Pawnee City. We did upset people, but they weren't from Pawnee
Snow White,
City.
Snow White. Come on, Snow White box office. Come on, where are you at?
It's so they scrubbed it from Google. It's so bad they scrubbed it.
You guys, Snow White weighed $6 million this weekend.
This is weekend 3.
Yes,
So
from
it's
3,750 location.
So it started off with what, like 50 million or something?
45 million.
45 million, then the 14, and now to 6.
Yeah, this is the third weekend it's been released.
Just
estimated total gross stands at 77.46
Which so
million.
opening weekend for that was 40. What was it?
45.
Yeah.
So as a comparison point, 45 million for Snow White, its first weekend. Disney, big company, so on. Minecraft.
In comparison, so basically what they're saying with Snow White is it'll be lucky to hit 85 million domestic total. Minecraft, its expectations for its opening weekend were 70 to 80 million dollars, and they said if we're gonna get bullish, we think it could be 90 million, but there's no way it's gonna surpass 90 million.
Okay, can we do a little tail of the tape?
Yeah.
What was the budget for the Minecraft movie?
Okay.
If this is another $250 billion or whatever $1 million.
Hey, it has
budget.
the money with how many kids play this stupid game.
Don't look, don't cheat.
I'm
cheat.
not looking.
All right. So there's the opening weekend. They said at the best 90 million, but they were expecting 70 to 80 million. What do you think the budget for that movie was?
Oh God,
65 million.
Jack Black was in it. Jason Momoa.
He's so dreamy.
he's disgusting.
No, he's dreamy.
He's not dreamy.
He's dreamy.
Guys are
734-494-0980.
What's your prediction, folks?
for the budget.
Yeah.
Give me a budget of 165.
Okay, Rob.
I just said 65.
65 million. 150 was the budget.
Okay.
All right. Box office. $157 million in its opening weekend. It is officially broke even after its first weekend.
Those meme dollars really come in.
And that's the thing.
They pay.
I was at the theater and I saw this movie, and he's like, and then the whole audience goes, "And Steve." And they went nuts.
It's like applauding, and it's going like flint and steel.
Because apparently there was a brain rot meme going around about all the stupid quotes from the trailer.
There's a chicken one, isn't there? A chicken?
Yeah.
Chicken
jockey.
Chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey, and everyone went crazy.
My son has been saying chicken jockey for the week leading up to the Minecraft movie.
That's what it's from.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's what it's from.
I had no idea about this. No clue. I'm with you, Joe. I
had no idea, and it was amazing.
I don't know if I'd use the word amazing.
No.
I loved it. Dude, when's the last time you've been in a movie and there was this shared camaraderie like that?
Avenger.
Yeah, when he grabs Mjolnir and everyone goes nuts.
Yeah.
Or when he appears in the first Avenger.
when he
comes out of the subway.
Woo, yeah.
Yeah. But that's my point. It doesn't happen often. That was 5 to 6 years ago?
It was too much, though.
I don't. You know what though, Rob? The movie wasn't made for me and you. It's made for younger people, and they loved it.
I'm mentally.
And
13.
you know what? I started for fun. I started clapping along with them.
Oh my God, they got him. They got him.
They got me, and I was like, Rob tried to start a couple fake ones. It did not work.
Right in the middle of it for random things. I was like, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are meme tards now.
People were going nuts, and it was amazing, but they weren't disrespectful. I know they were making fun of it, but
that is disrespectful.
No, I don't think they were making fun of it. I think it was just a thing.
Yeah, that they were doing together. They weren't disrespectful because they would say the quote together, and everyone would clap, and then everyone would get quiet again. People didn't continue talking over the
meme
movie.
Culture.
Neither do I.
You are such old bastards, both of you.
I'm sorry. We have some maturity. Some.
I like fun.
No, you
don't.
So then why are you guys fighting this?
Go look at your DS9 ratings and tell me you like fun.
This was fun. The movie sucked, but the experience was amazing. The movie didn't suck. I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
Oh my God. I wouldn't even see it. I'll give it a 2 out of 10.
It was a 5 out of 10 to me. But the experience was a 10 out of 10. I've never had a theater experience like that. I loved every second of it. I loved it.
It's kind of like Showcase Deer when watching Players Club. I was like, well, what's going to happen next?
I just don't. I don't know.
You're such a hater.
What like? Does meme culture have staying power? That's what I wonder.
Yes.
Like, does it have the power of? Do you think it will have the power of nostalgia in 20 years when this generation is approaching our
Remember
age?
that meme my friend sent me that one time? I don't know. I don't. I have no faith.
Okay, so famous memes, like you got that guy, the like.
I know, but it
fist.
doesn't. Like, I'll be like, oh, I remember that. That was funny.
Once.
But what it doesn't conjure up any feeling.
No.
Although I'm not nostalgic to it because I wasn't at the impressionable age when it became a thing. So
Like
that's what I wonder. Like with our kids when they get to the next stage,
Well,
when nostalgia becomes a thing for our children.
These are all of the best
Sorry.
So I think your eldest and my eldest, it's completely different than it is for the people that are our second kid's age.
Mm-hmm.
I think something changed there where, like, your oldest and my oldest still play with toys. But after that kind of went away.
Yeah.
So I think their nostalgia, like, I wonder what their nostalgia thing will be. Will it be music? Will it be, because movies I don't think is even in play for that generation.
I think we all just sound like old people. Everyone will find something to be nostalgic.
Well, that's
about.
what I'm wondering. What is it? What will it be?
I don't know.
I don't.
So here's a quick clip from the movie. Like here we go, and it's with the audience reaction.
Chicken jockey.
And it happened. Chicken jockey. And everyone clapped along, and it was amazing.
Jack Black sucks.
He does. He's terrible. He is terrible. He was
Jack-
on cocaine during this movie.
Yeah,
Jack Black is an awesome human being, and he's
Jack Black plays Jack Black.
I know that's why he sucks as an actor. He's a terrible actor.
Yeah,
He played Jack. He hasn't played Jack Black like 3 times, like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
He didn't suck in what was
School of Rock.
School of Rock. What was the record store movie? High Fidelity.
High Fidelity, but that was before he was huge.
I know.
Right? Because that was more about what's his name? Gosh, what was the actor in High Fidelity?
Oh,
That wasn't Cusack. Who was it?
Yes,
yeah,
John
John
Cusack.
Cusack.
He was the star in that one.
I can't really stand him as an actor.
Yeah, he's not my favorite either.
He has one.
but
He's like Will Ferrell. He has one dimension.
I will
Hey,
appreciate.
keep Will Ferrell's name out your mouth.
So I can appreciate him.
Will
in the
Ferrell
sense
sucks as an actor
of
too.
what you see is what you get with Jack Black. Like that's who he probably is in real life. Like this is not a man who is pretending to be something he's not.
I know.
This is who he is.
And
Hey.
it wears thin.
Will
So,
Ferrell's
he has no dimension.
acting in Step Brothers was different than his Elf.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, he swore more in Step Brothers than he did in Elf. In fact, he never swore in Elf.
Never sworn Elf.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
He did call someone a cotton-headed ninny muggins.
That's true.
Bye,
He-
buddy. Hope you find your dad.
We got 2 comic books to talk about real quick.
Yes.
There is a new one called Daredevil Cold Day in Hell that came out. And it's like the Old Man Logan / Dark Knight Returns version of Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
He's old. He's lost his powers initially.
I can already relate.
And yeah, tell me about it. And so it kind of, and it brings in a villain. I'm not sure who it is because my Daredevil knowledge isn't that great except for the show that we're watching. But Captain America makes a quick appearance. Punisher's in it, and I did not expect to see Punisher the way it was, and it was really enjoyable. It was a quick read.
Is
But
it in his stack over there?
I really enjoyed it. So it's book 1 of 3. It's not over there. It's actually downstairs in Sid's room. I bought it for her, but I read it anyway.
Like you were going to read it. Don't go through
Yeah.
the stack as if you were going to read it.
So I actually recommend this book. It was really good, and I was kind of shocked. I'm like, I'll give it a try. One of my employees recommended it to me for my kid who's a Daredevil fan. And I'm like, I'll give it a whirl. I'll read it. And I'm like, I'm going to buy all 3 issues.
Nice.
Yep. And
Very
then
nice.
we were going to talk about this last week, but Hush 2 came out. So Batman back.
Did it?
Gosh, when
I
was
was
that?
so excited to read that one. Oh my gosh.
Kill him.
Yeah, I'll kill you. So Hush is Superstar
Okay, kill
writers,
him.
staff, Jeff Loeb writing. We got Jim Lee, who is a fantastic artist on pencils, and we got Scott Williams on inks.
Scott Weiland?
not Scott Weiland. He's dead.
Oh, that would explain why the ink was so bad.
Yeah, see?
It's like, this is drawn really well, but the coloring is...
It looks dead.
That's part of our
Everything is grayscale.
That's part of our investigates getting dead people pregnant.
Yeah.
Scott Weiland.
It was a big thing back
Love
then.
in the Vaseline.
And now they brought it back. Issue 1 came back. And so issue 1 came out, and Nick and Joe got copies. I got a copy. And we read it.
I've read through it like 4 times now. And I have some thoughts for this. Can I start with my number 1 thought?
It stinks.
Yeah. I thought it stunk.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
I thought it stunk.
Okay, you bet.
You can't even have that. You're not even allowed to have that.
Why? Because I read it before we podcasted? Didn't you read it before we podcasted? Did you read it before we podcasted?
Yes.
Have we all read it since we started this podcast?
Joe
right
and
now?
I actually think I read it. I think you just kind of skimmed it.
We sat down and read it, and it took you 90 seconds to read it and say you turned to page 2 and you said, I don't like this.
That's not true.
Okay, it was page 4.
3. That's page 3. No, I like the artwork. Don't get me wrong. I like the artwork. Okay, I'm not a big Bat Family guy,
Either am I.
and the Bat Family features in it.
Briefly, they weren't even in it for that long. It was just Barbara
They were in like 4 cells.
and
Yeah.
Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it calls back
And
to
The
they
good
made
ones.
they made the joke about the big
First of all,
Bat Family.
that was the best line in the comic book,
Yeah.
where they said, "We've got like 4 Robins and 19 Batgirls. Can you just send one of them?" I laughed out loud because I, like Nick, am not a big fan of the Bat Family, except for Nightwing and Barbara Gordon. Once you get outside of that, I want them all dead.
I didn't like Talia's random appearance showing up to save him,
Well, that's not what your comments say.
giving him CPR, and I will
He needed
fully
to be saved.
I will fully acknowledge one of the things that I don't like about, and I've never liked it, is how every single female character is in the most skin tight costume you can possibly get, and it's like,
What do you want, your female characters coming up in Jinko jeans?
no, but I'd like to see Talia, like, she wasn't in her leather look that she normally has.
It could be tactical gear.
Or her ninja style outfits. No, it's just, here's a skin tight cat suit. And
Listen, the hours and hours that she puts into the gym doing squats and lunges.
She
and
deserves to treat.
Yeah,
me.
you
Let
gotta
that-
flaunt it.
let that woman enjoy the hard work that she has put in,
I mean, I suppose that's true.
or the hard work that Jim Lee has gone through
I know
to draw her.
that's
Yeah.
a stupid criticism. Don't get me wrong, because that's like a common culture thing. That's just part.
I
of
think in the
culture
90s that's more prevalent, especially with some of the
It's kinda gone away,
the
Yeah.
3D animation for certain
They're like,
characters.
wow, their boobs are going to make them
Yeah.
tip over.
And then like Power Girl back in the day, where basically was wearing nothing.
yeah,
I think a lot of that part's gone away, but I think, of course, they're going to look the best they can if you're going to draw it.
yeah.
But to your part about the art, I actually think the art's a step down from the original Hush series. I enjoyed the comic for what it was.
Yeah.
But if you look at that cover for Hush right there, that to me the art doesn't compare to that, which is kind of shocking.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, he is older.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, his style has probably evolved and not changed, but evolved and sort of like morphed into a different version of what it was before. He's drawn a lot since.
Yeah, and he hasn't
So-
drawn a series in a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was as good as the first either,
Yeah,
but
it's also the first issue, and it was just to get the Joker in there real quick and establish. What was his name? Silence. What was his name? Crap, I forgot his name already. Like, you just literally read the comic book, apparently.
no, he looked at the comic
Tommy
book.
Oliver?
No, not Tommy Oliver. His the guy that he was working for him. The guy that was quiet, who could just project thoughts into your head.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
Whisper is his name.
Whisper, yeah.
So, that was interesting. But I'm looking forward to the next issue.
Yeah, my thing is that it didn't really say or do anything. It was just kind of there. It existed for the sake of existing. And I understand it's supposed to serve as somewhat of a setup, but like,
I trust Jeff Loeb though. Like,
Yeah.
he understands Batman. He understands how to write a Batman story.
I'd be more interested in chapter 2 than like I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be out of it, but like chapter 1 didn't grab my interest.
That's fair.
I think that's where I'm at.
I'm actually kind of with Nick, even though my opinion holds a little more water.
Yes, I agree.
Because Court of the Owls grabbed me immediately.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that was one of my favorite Batman storylines.
I really hope they do that with the Batman.
It would be very nice.
Yes.
I think they could serve that storyline very well.
Was that Scott Snyder that wrote that one? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just nice because I've had a nice run of comic books lately. So that Daredevil is really good. Hush I thought was good, but it didn't have a lot of substance.
It didn't.
Absolute Batman's been really, really good.
But I mean, the substance I think comes from trusting
where it's going,
but trusting the names involved.
Yes. If you get Jim Lee out of drawing retirement, essentially on a running issue, there's got to be something happening.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So I mean, I'll tune in to this. I'll read the second one. I'll continue reading it, but the first one does not give me a lot to really aspire me to want to read it. Yeah. But the people doing the work make me want to continue.
Do the work. Do the work, Nick.
Do the work. Do the work.
Do the work.
Do the work. Any feedback before we go into Star Trek today, gentlemen?
Yeah. Do you want all the feedback, or do you want me to filter out just the good stuff?
Just whatever you want to do. It's your call, my man. It's your call, my man. I know we have the last episode. We have some YouTube
the Spotify one.
On that.
We actually have someone comment on
pull
Spotify.
up.
Oh yeah, the spot.
I can't. It's on that phone.
I got it. I have it.
So one thing we never really looked at is like the Apple Pods and the Spotifys of the world, because we don't get a lot.
It's not our meat and potatoes.
Yeah, no one really comments on it, and no one really rates us. So we and it's not a dog. It's just a fact, right?
Yeah. But hold on.
Open hailing frequencies.
Frequencies open.
Yes.
So I was I got a little more interest in Spotify this week, so I was looking this up in there, and there was one comment in there. I was like, heck yeah! Mm-hmm, I said we gotta give this.
That's pretty great.
We gotta give this person some mad props.
And it says their name. Rich Hales commented that Jordy needs a holodeck with incognito mode.
Yeah,
which I think he does.
Which was a brilliant comment.
It was.
It was pretty funny. It's nothing more true.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. We did have some YouTube comments that are really good. I have a couple of them. Do you want to do them, or
from last week's episode about? Yeah. Go ahead.
One user. I'm not going to say their full name on it because it looks like it's their full name, so I don't want to put that up there. But we'll just say Trinice.
That is okay.
Trinice. Yeah. User Trinice. Pawnee gonna come after y'all. Watch your back. I'm happy to hear you enjoy a few TNG episodes. It's a downer to see you not loving this show. And why aren't you all more popular? Love you, boys. This show better than all the Trek ones out there. Maybe try running the episodes down in a more organized way, like act by act. You three fill every category. Too long of episodes. I'm going to figure it out. And then Dave, Office TV. All those foods sound amazing. I'd eat them all twice. I was worried you wouldn't like Cupid. I thought it was great. Star Trek Jeopardy. I'm intrigued by this. Yes, Star Trek Jeopardy is coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I do appreciate the
Trinice's
feedback about why aren't we more popular?
And why aren't we more popular?
It's because we hate everybody.
We do hate everybody, and
is it because everybody hates us?
Everybody does hate us.
We create some controversy here and there,
and that's fine. But that's good.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. It's good.
But like we don't. So there's a podcast, I Love Seinfeld, and there's a podcast called Signcast.
Yeah.
And the way that they review the episodes is like that. It's like act by act, scene by scene.
So it's more linear.
It's very linear. They break down every nuance of each episode.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
No, well, and it works for them because they do it very well. And I love Seinfeld, so I want to hear every nuance. And they know Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And they know every nuance just like I do. So it's like I'm there. Mm-hmm. It's what I want to hear. But it's not very interactive. It's more of a rundown. Yeah. And I put it on and I listen and it's just, I remember that.
It's not a conversation.
No. And what we do.
We want it to be a conversation, yeah.
But the thing is, you guys started as you love DS9. He didn't love it as much. Let's watch the episodes and talk about it, right?
Yeah, what did you not like? Let me see if I can change your mind.
And then we did.
And then I was brought in because I had never seen it. So we're not breaking it down act by act. We're breaking it down as an episode, as a full episode. And let's pick out the things that we think are intriguing or worth expanding on more. and we have a conversation, and it's fluid, and it can go to things that aren't even Star Trek within the review, and so I think that's where we work best. Mm-hmm. But I do like act by act rundowns of shows that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
And Trinice might be more super into Star Trek and want to hear like those kinds of breakdowns.
Yeah. No, we appreciate the feedback, Trinice, and we're glad to have you as a listener.
And we try to stay on track.
Yeah, we try.
No, we don't.
I will add another listener feedback from my wife. I do listen to your episodes, is what she said, and I will try to make those delicious nachos.
Leslie,
Yes,
you're awesome.
So she said that. She came at me like Monday afternoon and said, "I'm going to make those nachos, those delicious dessert nachos."
Too long of episodes might have an argument there.
No. Sorry. If we're under an hour, it's bad. We're at 50 minutes. We haven't even
Holy
started our Star
shit.
Trek review.
But
So Trinice, we failed already.
and then I don't want to filter out all the good stuff. We're on Patreon. We have Patreon over there. We get feedback over there, but that's for Patreon. Listener Annette had an issue with something I said, calling Apple TV the WNBA of Apple, and I'm sorry. I'm not going to double down on it, but I hear your critique. But the reason I said that is because Apple makes money. Apple TV does not make money. The NBA makes money. The WNBA does not make money.
That's what your argument was.
That's the equivalency. It has nothing to do with a comment of
The talent or
the
whatever.
talent or lack of talent or whatever, or women's sports in general. Has no comment on that. It was all monetary. Financial, yes.
You're just a controversial SOB,
I am.
aren't you?
And I also I quizzed my daughter, who is getting more into sports and women's sports, to name. I said, can you name anybody in the WNBA? I said, that's not Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark. Mm-hmm. Crickets.
Speaking of women's sports, I have a question for you guys. I know we're going off topic, but
they can brand. They can do better. They can brand better, and they have. I think they're going to, because they're the.
They needed a good rivalry. They got one.
Here's the thing.
That's true.
I did research after Annette's comment, and they like the collective bargaining agreement. I think ends in 2025.
Oh, that's going to change.
And they're going there. So the structure of contracts is going to change. They're going to get a bigger. They're going to get a bigger TV deal.
Yeah.
So there's more money that's going to come in.
Right.
But it's gonna take time to turn a profit. But I don't know. That was my whole comment, was they are a subsidy of a larger entity that makes money, and that does not. It's not a moneymaker for the NBA or the owners. And Apple TV seems to be the same for Apple.
I'm going to offer my support and say nothing to support you right now and just say, okay.
Thank you.
But speaking of women's sports, so I was at Western Michigan last week, real quick, and I was watching women's softball. How is there not a pro league for this? It is
There should
Oh my
be.
gosh,
It's a
softball
captivating
is
game.
so much
Yes.
fun
It
to
is a
watch.
captivating game. Just like their ability to just throw the ball and get any kind of accuracy,
But-
the energy that goes into the game.
It's fast paced
It's
too.
highly entertaining.
Well,
and how isn't there a pro league for
And
this?
part of it is that they're cheering from the seats and like from the bullpen and
Yeah.
from the dugout. Like they're into the games. They're creating their own cheers. Like they are invested in everything. Like the teams. Whereas you watch an MLB game, like half the time they're not even paying attention
I
to
was
the game.
absolutely captivated. And so were my kids. My young kids were just like, this is fun.
But there's
Your daughter was captivated with the softball players. Gee,
Yeah.
big surprise.
like father, like daughter.
Yeah.
But there, you know that there's like flag football leagues.
Yes.
How?
I don't know.
How? Like, can
And
we
they
get a
think they can play
can we get a
against
pro
Patrick
soft? I
Mahomes.
want a pro softball league.
Let's start it. Let's fund it.
Yeah.
GoFundMe for the Pro Softball League for women, starting tomorrow.
It's like, how is that?
I'll put in
it's
$1.
a fun game.
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah. It is a fun sport. I thought that argument's more entertaining than a lot of like the pro sports out there.
Guys, we're at 54 minutes. This is ridiculous.
Oh, the time miser here.
I know.
Bro,
Split into 2 episodes.
54 minutes. That's a long time, is it not?
That's a pretty good time.
Drumhead.
To be
Drumhead.
continued.
Drumhead. We're going to review Drumhead. Directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Joe Nathan.
Courtroom drama episodes. There's been sabotage on the Enterprise. Someone has stolen plans for the warp drive, and their engine has been destroyed. Worf discovers it's a Klingon exchange officer on the ship, Jadan. He used a hypospray to transmit secret information to the Romulans. They bring on a military tribunal on the ship led by a retired admiral. And at first, it's going okay. And Jean-Luc Picard is behind it. They're all behind this. However, this admiral gets a little overzealous. She starts accusing other people. She accuses an ensign of being involved just because it turns out he had Romulan blood in his past. And she accuses him of treachery against the Federation and basically says he's a conspirator. Picard is not happy about this. Worf is getting more into it as well. I mean, Worf is going down the rabbit hole and he's engaged in it. Later on, it turns out that it was just an error. It was the system broke down, and that's why the warp drive collapsed. Picard says the matter's closed. The Admiral says, and they bring that poor ensign up on the tribunal again, and they accuse him of sabotage, saying that he used a medical thing to do it. And he's like, I did not do anything. Turns out they lied. They made that up to try to get him to confess to something he didn't do. And it continues. They go after Picard. She accuses Picard of being a treacherous guy because of his time as the cutest of Borg. And she says, I've taken down greater men than you, Picard. How dare you? She goes on a rant during the trial. And at that point, Picard gives a speech like, hey, this is wrong. You guys shouldn't be doing this. Another admiral walks out and the trial ends. It ends with nothing being solved except for finding out that people are still garbage like they were in the 20th century. The end. So
it stinks. No.
Was this the episode that you?
This
thought
episode was
fire?
gas, start to finish, absolute gas.
So I struggled at first with it.
Really?
Like the first 15 or so minutes.
15 minutes.
Wow.
Right, until they started getting into the actual trial stuff. Once the trial started, right, where they started questioning, then I was like super.
I love trial episodes. I
know you do.
I love them.
And this harkens a lot back to that one you loved in Battlestar Galactica from the first season, was that?
Yeah.
What was the name of that one? I'm going to find it. So
I'm going to find it.
I'm going to find that episode.
I said more with Joe, right off the bat, when they actually felt the need to bring on an outside investigator. Mm-hmm. That interests me.
Oh, yeah.
Because usually
absolutely.
it's all done in ship. And this was conceived as a bottle show, which.
Litmus.
Yeah, that was very good.
Litmus was a good
What did I give it?
9.5.
Whew. I want to give it a 10.
Yeah, the Litmus was so good because it was the same concept, right?
Ronald D. Moore had part in this episode.
He did. And this idea that here is a colleague of Picard's. They have a very friendly relationship. They get along really well. They see eye to eye on everything. And she immediately she turns on him quick when she's not finding what she wants. She digs deeper and deeper and deeper. And then Picard comes in her crossfire, and now she hates his guts.
Yeah, because he disagreed with her.
And that's what happened in Litmus as well, right? The JAG officer that they had turned against Adama, and he's like, we're done. He just cancels it, where Picard doesn't have that authority because he's a captain, she's an admiral. But in that case, he did. So he has to go along with this trial, even though he knows it's crap.
I thought he...
See, I don't think he initially thought it was crap, obviously. He didn't like the witch hunt for the ensign.
He started to see what it was
when
becoming.
When they came after the ensign.
Because it's all circumstantial at the time.
And that's what he said, right? You're going off of hearsay and circumstantial evidence.
I really love this episode because I didn't know who I liked or disliked.
That's a good thing when you get out of it.
Because Admiral Satie,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was very calculated and very methodical.
And passionate.
And a lot of times correct, but until she wasn't. Like she... But she would question him about like when she questioned when Picard questioned her about using the empath's
she gave it back to him.
She gave it back to him, and he was like, "Well, I suppose she was wrong, but right at the same time."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were both wrong, but right at the same time.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was it kind of bothered me that how the episode came to a head.
Oh, with her just snapping in court and the Admiral
Yes,
walking
because
out?
she berated him. She berated Captain Picard, a man,
Yeah.
for a long time, and he took it, and it was very calculated and very
Yeah.
Just calm and collected. And he says one thing about her dad, and she's shown as this emotional woman who he says one thing, and she leveled her own, she ruined herself, her own, because she was absolutely smoking that trial.
Well, and I think that's what's so troubling is, was she actually smoking? Like, it's interesting how prosecution and defense works. Each side, their job is to prosecution, you're supposed to convict beyond a shadow of a doubt. Defense is to create that shadow of a doubt. And the problem, and I think this is a real telling thing on our political system today, on our legal system, is it's now become, if the prosecution can just make you doubt a little bit, that's enough to convict. And and that's what happens in politics, right? Well, it's possible they had little children under a pizza parlor, so Hillary Clinton must have done it, right? Like they just little shreds. If you create a little bit of doubt, all of a sudden that's enough in the court of public opinion now. And that's exactly what she was doing. Oh, we're bringing people in because we don't want to hold this under, it looks bad when you don't have people present.
Well,
what? So you're dragging a man's name through the mud.
Yeah, Picard recognized that she is really into her dad. Like, she really appreciates and loves her dad. So he wouldn't. What would your reaction be if you used that person's words against you, type of thing, in that scene? I do think it was a little weak, like just spitting out her dad's words.
He didn't even say anything bad. He used it as a...
And he didn't even say who he's quoting, right?
Yeah, but she...
No,
those words were uttered by Judge Aaron Satie.
And that really grinded her gears.
And then she snapped.
How dare you?
I mean, she was
against me.
She was winning the trial. She had Picard against the ropes. Like, she was naming... She had people questioning whether he even believed in the
ideals of the Federation.
The ideal of the Federation or the Prime Directive.
Yeah,
breaking the Prime Directive when it benefits him.
But see, that was a great example of the prosecution as well. I see here you violated the Prime Directive 6 times, and he goes, "Yeah, I did, but I submitted a report to Starfleet and explained it away." And she goes, "Oh, well, we'll have to look at those reports." So in other words, they were just using secondhand knowledge.
Shock.
They had never. Yeah, exactly.
If there's a trial,
or she probably had read the reports, knew he was innocent, but says, "All I have to do is plant a seed of doubt, and I will get people to turn against him."
I think that works more in a jury trial than it would with an admiral who's kind of overseeing things, and the guy that came in later.
But he's not even. Is he responsible for deciding who's guilty and innocent?
I think ultimately,
I think he was supposed to be like an impartial third party.
Yeah, and kind of because she was retired.
Right.
So I imagine he's active. So ultimately, I think he would be the one to pull the trigger if Picard was found guilty or something like that.
Right. So here's a couple things. So she has this outlash at the end, this speech at the end. I don't really think that necessarily hurts her case. It just makes her look incredibly passionate to a fault.
I think it hurts her case because it shows that she's lost. She's doing this from a place of emotional reaction rather than
objection.
Yeah,
she's not objective to the fact that this could be a witch hunt.
Yeah,
right.
She doesn't look objective in that moment.
No,
but isn't that the point of the prosecution? Your job is to see the person is guilty and convince everyone that they're guilty. Like, she's like, "How dare you use my father's words in your traitor's arguments? You who consort with Romulans," right? Like, she says that. Is the issue more like the fact that she was able to snap so easily at such a small comment? Is that the issue? So therefore it makes you question her ability to discern truth because a little comment gets her to snap?
Well, I think it's kind of a combination of everything that happened there where Picard comes back with that. The admiral in the seats is probably going, "Good point." And then she reacts the way she does. And like, okay, if you want to find a conspiracy, you can find a conspiracy
anywhere,
and
that's the problem with our country.
If you want to
today.
make
that's the thing is, because they had a back and forth where Picard was like, "I will fight you on this. I'm going right to Starfleet Command," and she's like, I'm in contact with them.
am the law.
Yeah,
I
I'm in
report
contact
to
with
Starfleet directly. I do not need your permission or your approval for my decisions.
Yeah, and so he probably has heard from both of them, and he's probably heard Picard like say, "Look, this is a witch hunt. There is nothing," and she is damaging the ship. She's damaging the crew, the career of this young man, and.
Wasn't that after they found that the explosion was an accident or just a breakdown of?
Yeah, they found
it was. Yes, it was. It was the scene after scene after because they needed the viewer to understand that it was an accident. Although I do have an issue with that.
Actually, I kind of like that it was something simple like that.
I do, but I wish. So in the beginning, they're like, "Well, we have these readings or whatever," and it was everything was normal until like 80 milliseconds before the explosion or whatever. So it couldn't have been.
They were wrong.
I understand, but I wish it was.
I like that they were wrong too because usually they're always right. They're always right on this show. So
yeah, but them being wrong almost cost people multiple people their careers.
But they couldn't verify the information because of the radiation.
Geordi and Picard were always cautioning, hold on, we don't know what happened in the first. We don't know. We don't know. We don't. Yeah. And she was the one who said, oh, the stress fracture happened. Oh, she hung out with him. Oh, he's guilty, right? So the whole point is, if she was never there, no one's career would have ever been threatened.
They would have finished the investigation.
They would have finished the investigation. They would have found this guy acting on his own, and everything would have been honky-dory. Instead,
You say honky-dory?
Isn't it honky-dory?
It's hunky-dory.
Oh gosh,
I do
one's
like
way more offensive.
I do like how they brought in like
I did say honky-dory.
That hurts my feelings. That's a honky.
The little mentions of conspiracy, of best of both worlds, of
yes,
the Romulan and the Klingon background traitor thing going on. I kind of like those little drops.
There was depth to it.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was just the information that was contained within this episode, but they were pulling on things from outside to add context and depth.
Yeah.
And it made it, I told you pre-show, it just made it feel, and I don't have a better word for this, but I told you, it made it feel more believable.
More full.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. Once it was exposed that the prosecution lied to this poor ensign and said this product it can only be found in sickbay was used to weaken this and cause it to fail. Wouldn't that be an immediate mistrial? Like even in their standards, like you put evidence that was not real or correct in the court. You tried to catch someone in
I absolutely hated that, and I hate because police can do that. Police can
lie to you all the time,
in interrogations and. It doesn't affect. I absolutely hate that.
I've always hated.
But it's true. It happens.
But years ago,
what do you mean it's true?
Well, it's true that tactic's used.
No, I'm not arguing that it's not. I'm saying I hate that
it's terrible.
I hate that it doesn't taint any information that they get by use of lying or misinforming. I
100% agree.
The only exception to that rule is if like they're talking to a kid and they're like, you don't need a lawyer in here. You don't need an adult in here. And then they get the information out of the kid. That evidence is not admissible. But those are like the only
It's the same thing if you ask for a lawyer and they continue on after that.
They can continue on. It's your job to shut up. But that's where I would struggle with that. Very much like this ensign. I have nothing to hide.
He had something to hide.
We did. But it wasn't
like,
as serious.
How would he have known that would come out, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would that come out in that situation? And
no, he should have known.
And all of us,
once you're being interrogated, you should be like, shit, they're gonna find out. Because he knew he lied.
We all have crap though that we hide that is a big deal, but isn't a big deal, and we're like, look, I got nothing to hide. And then you get in there, and they're like, well, what about this thing that happened on this date? And you're like, holy crap, I never thought they would bring that up, right? Like, everyone has stuff like that. Like,
what about the hooker in Reno?
I had that years ago when I was back in the day when I worked at I ended up getting fired and they accused me of stealing crap.
We know you stole
store,
it,
right?
Xbox addiction started then.
So I like when I was brought in for questioning. This was when I was like 21, 22 years old. I was brought in for questioning. I'm like, I have nothing. I didn't do anything. I was a kid. I was going to college, whatever. So I told the officer, I'm like, I got nothing to hide. And he's like, people say that all the time. We have you on tape stealing them. And I'm like, he's like, if you just admit it, there won't be charges involved and blah, 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 blah. Like, they were trying to scare me into something, and I didn't do anything. And luckily, Leslie worked for a defense attorney, and he's like, no, take a polygraph test. I took the test, and it came back that I said I was truthful on those things, but then it came back that I lied. It's like, have you ever committed a crime? And I said, no. And then it's like, well, you lied, so it must mean you're lying about everything. They're like, what are you lying about?
Well, what about the rest of the
So they're
things
like trying to find.
I did commit a crime.
trying-
I killed a man in Reno.
Yeah,
just to watch him die.
Just to watch it. But they're trying to break you down and like convince you that they're your friends.
Yep.
But at the same time, like,
They're playing you.
yeah, and it's now in this case, she initially starts off with like, "Hey, we're just trying to help you, Ensign. We're just trying to help you. Just admit, and we can make
Hey,
this work."
it's no big
No,
deal.
Ain't
no
no
big
big
deal.
deal.
Forget
and
about
she
it.
does that with Picard. Picard, we're on the same side here.
Not initially though, because she came in a little adversarial because he asked something about what Starfleet know, and she goes, "What Starfleet knows is for me and
Knows
Starfleet
or-
to know."
You know what's interesting?
And then she opened up to him.
is both her and Worf use that exact line.
Yep.
Like, she's like, what Starfleet does or doesn't know is like none of your concern.
Yeah.
And
about the Klingon,
About-
his dad,
about his dad,
Yeah.
what my dad did or did not do is none of your concern.
Yeah.
Like it's for me and me. I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Ultimately, though, like, I love the final quote by Picard when he's
Yes.
talking to Worf, where he says, vigilance, Mr. Worf, that is the price we have to continually pay. This idea of we've come so far in history. Torture of heretics, burning of witches, it's all ancient history. And then before a blink of an eye, it starts happening all over again. And that's how it happens, right? It really does happen that way. I cannot help but think of our political situation now, whereas 10 years ago, we did not put this sort of conspiracy theory into it. And now all of a sudden, there's a globalist agenda.
Say 20 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago was 2015, big guy.
Oh, gosh. Before Obama, before September 11th, I would say, right? 2000s, early 2000s, 90s, we did not accept conspiracy theories as
Yeah,
evidence.
People were seen as kooks and
Yeah,
it's
they were
like just,
they were outliers. And
Yeah.
now it's like we're embracing these. There's these websites and people get into it. And
it's the internet. It's the internet's fault. It really
reprograms
is.
people's brains. Yeah.
Another quote from Picard when he's trying to talk about all of it. A trial based on insinuation and innuendo, nothing substantial offered against Mr. Tarsus, much less proven. And then he kind of continues on. It's like, it's everything you're saying is true. Like, we can create these weird scenarios and people believe them now. It's just blows my mind how dumb we've become as a species.
Well, and we're not exempt from it now, or nor have we ever been. I mean, Salem witch trials was a thing. This to me harkens back to McCarthyism, very much so, where Joe McCarthy had all the trials accusing everyone of being communists and blackballing all these people. We do it today, right? We have these the freaking witch hunts that right now are happening in our political process. And I'm not talking about witch hunts against the person who is actually guilty and is accusing everyone else of being guilty, right? I think oftentimes the people who are the most guilty are the ones who are there pointing and wagging the fingers. Like Joseph McCarthy saying, you're a threat to democracy. You're a threat to this country. It's like, no, really you are, sir, because you're out there
You're
accusing
undoing
everyone.
democracy.
And same with her, this admiral. You're a threat to the Federation. Picard is not a threat.
Yeah.
You are the threat. And they don't see that. They're so blinded by their zealotry.
Well, that's kind of
Overzealous.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
Okay. They thought this was so important that they brought her out of retirement.
Yeah.
But once she got going, they brought somebody in
To oversee it.
to oversee it.
Who
At
was
the-
an actual
Why not
admiral.
just bring that guy in?
well,
to,
they probably
to lead the investigation.
probably because he wasn't an investigator. He was
And
just
she
kind of
was,
yeah,
yeah.
and he was probably just
They didn't
which-
replace her with anybody?
Well, she was retired, and maybe I don't know. Maybe this guy was just kind of like want to verify,
Or-
fine, especially when she was going to start accusing people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next level.
Here's the thing. Maybe they thought this wasn't even that important in the first place. Like maybe
Then they
this
wouldn't
is
have
what-
brought her out of retirement. They would have just
But I mean, there's-
Picard, do your thing.
see, I would argue that they're not bringing her out of retirement. They're like, hey, do you want to look into this for us? You know, we don't have the time. Do you want to look into it? And they think nothing's going to come of it.
And she probably
And then she
could have gone to her head.
something. Yeah.
No, I would
Like
give
that
that.
happens sometimes. I mean,
Yeah,
that
but
happens.
you don't bring somebody out. You give that to like a staffer. If you don't think it's going to be anything, go, you know what?
They-
Go look into this.
Yeah, you're bringing the Chev.
But that's no, but that happens in
Yeah.
like investigative journalism all the time. You get like a
Bringing in
lowly
interns to
staffer.
look into it.
Listen, we've got a couple things here. Just go look into this and just to keep them busy. And then they talk. It turns out, oh shit, it's Watergate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then they're
it's
like,
made your
all right,
career.
well, never mind. We got our
remember,
big guns.
It was initially just about the Klingon. Like,
Yeah.
how did this information get out? And that's what
And she's the one who makes it more than it needs.
she's the one who creates the whole new
Which
narrative.
is what brings the admiral.
And it
Racist?
It kind of goes into the episode of DS9 Homefront where they go to Earth. Find out there's a changeling on there, and then whole Earth panics about it, and it becomes lockdown. And all it was just the one changeling just to kind of go with people.
Is Gene Roddenberry still alive here?
91, yeah.
I wonder if he would have hated this episode.
I loved it because it wasn't neat.
Oh, there's a shot of Gene Roddenberry and Gene Simmons together. So
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
he was alive. Or unless
I didn't know he was a Kiss fan.
I know. I love that this episode was conceived as a money-saving episode, right? Like some of the best
Yeah, bottle
episodes
show.
of shows are
Yeah.
bottle episodes because it forces you to get to the heart of
Just
who
like-
the characters are.
or even the cause and effect. People love that episode later. And
Oh, I just had a point. Oh, I liked. Speaking of, I said that she was racist as a joke, but I don't think it was really a joke. I think there was a little bit of.
Oh yeah, there's some superiority complex there.
But I thought it was hilarious when they were accusing Jadar, and they're like, "Look, we don't hate you because you're Klingon. We got our own Klingon.
yeah, look at our guy. We got a Klingon friend.
Like, my best friend is Klingon.
So-
our security officer is Klingon. We can't possibly be accusing you because you're Klingon.
Yeah, that's not.
Our security officer is Klingon.
They definitely pulled that. Yeah,
I would've
have
been
a
like-
black friend.
Yeah, I have a black friend.
I have a gay friend.
My
I
best
have a-
friends.
Yeah,
No real Klingon would conspire with the Romulans.
right.
Yeah.
Interesting things. This admiral was the one who assigned Picard
I saw
to the
that.
Enterprise.
Yeah.
Also, it's her fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this is.
Well, that could also
She
explain.
should have seen it coming.
But
Her name could have just been the signature.
flagship of the fleet. That could play into this idea of this woman is so, like maybe she regrets that decision, or she realizes her butt is on the line for him here, so she's got.
She's
to take him down.
retired. Her butt's not. Maybe that's what pushed her out. They're like,
But they
look,
Sati.
Sati,
Yeah,
you fucked up with the Enterprise. This guy's a nightmare.
yeah.
You're past your prime. Just retire. Just go.
Just go. We've
got people. We got young people in the
She's like,
wings
"No, I got
ready.
this. I got-"
She's like, I got this. I got this. He's gonna turn it around.
Yeah. Anyway,
But they lost 39 ships. It wasn't 40. I don't know what to tell you.
Have you fully recovered from your incident with the Borg? That was low.
That was low. That was low. But
yeah, but the point is, okay, so this is what's so fascinating about it. She was using a common tactic that's used in prosecution.
Oh, absolutely.
Get your defense to snap. He used that same tactic against her and got her to snap. which
Yep.
that was
resulted-
my original point was she kept using all of these tactics and he was cool, calm, and collected.
He was saving him up. He was all like, come on, send him
Oh,
And
yeah,
he
because
was-
Worf even lost it at one point. He's
He's
like,
like,
chill out, bro.
Yep,
I
Lieutenant.
got this. And
And then he said one thing and she snapped.
can you think if that was Cisco on trial? Man would be in the brig by now.
Yeah, he'd be punching everybody.
Punching every, and that is where you can see why Picard is a love captain, because nothing rattles him except the Borg. But that's a whole other story.
And kids.
Yeah, and kids. And kids. Well, fairly.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Nothing rattles this man, and he
Get
stays
this
cool.
brat off my
and
bridge.
he really does.
Oh, he's just waiting for his time.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I got
Yep.
something for
But
you.
then he can also look at himself and say, I screwed up too. I
Yep.
really got into this trial at first. Look
Well,
at how
he
quickly.
did say he screwed up when they were talking about the empath thing.
Yep.
He's like, well, maybe I should reevaluate that behavior.
Exactly. Like he totally like this is and that's
He's like,
I think
you
why
got
he's
me.
loved.
You got me, and maybe I shouldn't be doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about this. Like he doesn't double down.
And plus, you said you love when you see a meme in the wild. When he's on
Yes,
the chair, and
the-
he goes like, yeah.
I was like, oh, I had a reaction like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I was like,
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. Gentlemen, we could talk about this episode a long time, but we're at an hour and 20. We should go into the next episode.
The next episode.
Another one. Half a life. Luxana's on the ship. They're taking her somewhere else.
Boring.
And a doctor boards the ship because they're going to do an investigation of a star that's about to explode. And he's trying to stop the star from exploding because his homeworld's about to explode. She sees this man and she falls madly in love with him. She loves this guy, but he's like, nah to her advances. They try to stop the star from exploding. Does not work. Man is crushed. She's like, it's okay. You got the rest of your life. And he's like, actually, I'm dying.
About that.
I'm getting murdered on my planet because at the age of 60, our culture says we die. We kill ourselves. And she's like, that ain't cool, bro. Don't do that. I love you. And he's like, no, it's my culture. And she says, yeah, but I can keep boning you. And he's like, as long as you call me daddy. And she says she'll call him daddy.
Was that in the episode?
Yes. So he decides not to die. And he tells his planet, I'm not going to die. The planet gets outraged by this. No, you're violating our customs. His daughter comes on the ship, says, no, you can't do this, Dad. I love you, but I am ashamed of you. And she leaves the ship. And then he decides, he's like, no, I got to go back to my planet. I love you, Luxana, but I love my people more. I wish your love was enough. It's not. I'm going to go back to my planet to die. Luxana goes with him onto the planet and
for one more round of coitus.
one more round before he dies. We also have an appearance of Admiral Kane / Ro Laren in this episode. Michelle Forbes as Dara. The end.
It stinks. No, this one started out as boring.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And got way better.
Well,
Because
start off
I'm not intrigued by Luxana Troy.
I will say though, I laughed because you got Picard coming out of the door, kind of.
I
looking
thought
around,
that was
going,
hilarious.
Trying to avoid her. Yeah, they all try to avoid her. Like her own daughter tries to avoid her.
Can you imagine that being your mother?
Yeah.
Holy
Or
crap!
the conversation in the room where she's like, Mom, you're horny all the time, right? And she calls her out and she's like, I am.
Dick, 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 dick,
Dick.
Like, that is like messed up.
Yeah.
What a man. And they can read each other's thoughts. Oh,
It
gosh,
goes back
Mom.
to my comment last week when you're just walking around, all of a sudden you're like, whoa.
Yeah, all the time.
So she moves pretty quick, huh? She lives a fast life.
She lives,
Yeah, she does.
She's
lives
already
fast and
like she
loose,
just
man.
met the guy and already she's like
Oh, no,
Like, ready to blow
she's
up
literally
this-
on Picard's arm, and then the guy dreams up. She's like, new dick.
Yeah.
dick.
And she's like, I'm going to destroy your whole society because I want to get laid. Like, that's literally, I will burn your place, will burn your planet to the ground because I want to sleep with you.
Didn't you think it was a
Forever.
little premature for her and
Whatever his name is.
and Counselor Troy and her mom.
Yeah.
For Deanna and her mom to have the conversation about how it felt when their dad died.
Yeah.
I was
So-
like, you just met this guy and already you're kind of having a
You've
conversation where you compare the feeling of when he died
Yeah.
versus this guy you met earlier in this episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you've known him.
Pump the brakes.
How long do you think they've known? Maybe 2 weeks at
Yeah,
most?
a couple weeks maybe.
like a day.
No, I think
I think
So
probably
you guys know my reaction to like instant, like Cisco in Second Sight, falling in love with this girl. I hate it with a passion. God, do I hate it with a passion.
I don't
understand you got to push the story narrative, but
I don't
good
mind the
Lord.
attraction, but it's the
Well, yeah,
it's
you're
the
like, hey,
instant,
I want to jump your bones, but now I'm in love with you.
it's the
Yeah,
instant
they
oh my
do that
god,
with
we're
all
gonna,
the Star Trek characters,
we're gonna
right?
discard
Again,
societal traditions and just let him go kill. Also, he did not look 60.
no.
I mean, that's their planet maybe ages differently.
He looked like he was 58 at most.
Okay, so here's this.
Oh, I thought it was funny when Luxana Troy was saying, "Well, why does it have to be 60? Why can't you do it?" She goes, "Why can't it be like 61 or 58?" I'm like, he would have already been. She wanted to kill
Well,
him
he was
earlier.
saying, so I didn't meet you. That's what she was saying.
I know, but I thought it was funny. Like, just die earlier. Let's make it 58. Fuck, make it 50.
Yeah. But ultimately, like, I think a big part of this episode, one of the things that worked about this is it's forcing Luxana to confront her mortality, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out that's a big part of why she's reacting, because she's like, holy shnikes.
She's old, yeah.
I'm 60 or
Yeah.
I'm whatever age.
But she doesn't have to kill herself.
No, but
But
it's
still-
it's a way of saying, like, because his argument is we've outlived our purposefulness, right? There's no more point for us because now we're elders. And she's like, well, wait, I have no purpose in life. And
It's very humbling to realize that when you come to the realization of how old you are.
I'm no longer a productive member of society, right? Like that's his argument. I don't want to become a burden on my children. And here's Luxana hearing this going, oh no, is this me? And it's her coming to grips with realizing that's his culture.
Yeah.
And some cultures, like she says, we raised them, we birthed them, we did everything for them. They can take care of us now too, right? And he's like, nah, the point of a parent is not to put that burden on their children. And there's
truth to that.
There's ebbs and flows there, right? It depends on what your familial unit is like. And then the comment that Deanna makes to her about you'll never be one of those who dies before they die. I love that.
Yeah.
I deal with that so much in my
for
profession,
sure.
right? Like people who are like, I'm not worthwhile. I'm like, no, you still have joy. You're still bringing something to other people. Like people, you have a purpose, I think, until the very day you die. And I like this argument that he's saying your purpose, you no longer have purpose after 60, where I argue you always have purpose. It's just a matter of finding out what it is.
It's like
and it changes and evolves.
Jim Carrey said in Dumb and Dumber, it just strikes true. Senior citizens,
Yeah.
though slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't you go dying on me.
That's a great line. That's a great.
I was walking around the neighborhood this week, actually, and it's before I watched this episode, and I'm walking around. And,
Dick.
Yeah, exactly. 100% dick. And the thought randomly, no context whatsoever, popped in my head, like, I'm not far from 50. And I looked for cars to jump in front of, but stupid 25 miles per hour.
I know.
That's
just going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it'll break his hip, and then it'll put him in a hole.
And then you'll be dead soon.
There's a train track nearby. I was going to walk over there, but it was too far.
We're too far. We're in 2025. Trains aren't as... You might have to wait a long time.
This guy always runs.
Really?
Oh, my God, yes. And he'll just sit there, too.
Who can argue? Like, you can't argue with some of the things this episode is presenting, especially if it holds a mirror to our society. Like, we do view people, older people, as a drain on society.
Absolutely.
We put them in homes where they're mistreated and like.
I'm reversing it. I feel like younger people are a drain on society now.
Yeah.
The youth.
As you get older, you reverse that thought process, right?
Hey, like you're ageist.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's, like
I hate the young, I hate the old.
You think about how these retirement homes are, and a lot of like where they just put them in a wheelchair in the hall and just leave people to rot to death. Like that's no way to live.
We don't value the old. That's
we do not, like other cultures do. Like Asian culture values very much so. Their family units live together and they take care of their parents, and there's something to be gained by that. I do not want to be part of that culture. I do not want my parents to live with me.
No.
Welcome to Asian Nick's house.
But we've been conditioned to think that way as well, right? Like, whereas if you grew up your whole life, and this goes back with the age of 60 for dying, right? We've been conditioned our whole life. The point of view is to grow up, get a job, move out, and live your own life. Be a productive member of society, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then now we're like, now you got to take care of them. Well, no, that's not how we're conditioned as our society.
Well, also, I kind of argument that, but sometimes the idea, like my dad is one of the salts of the earth, right? One of the nicest men,
he's a salty bitch.
One of the most sincere people you ever meet. But it's not because I don't want him to live here because he's like old or anything like that.
He's so old.
It's just
old
it's the same.
Balls.
It's different.
Gross.
Like my mother-in-law, like I would kill myself because she's terrible.
But Rob, you're not 60 yet.
Like that all like that to have them like your parents, nice people, but they could get annoying living with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's the point.
I don't think we're conditioned. I think that's fact.
No.
I think that's facts.
Facts of life, baby.
Right. But we live in a society where it says there's no obligation to do it. So therefore, where other societies, it's like, no, it's part of your obligation. It's part of the social structure that you must do this.
You don't think that's a societal obligation to take care of your parents when they get older? I feel like it is.
I feel it is. Absolutely.
In the United States?
Yeah.
You think it is?
Mm-hmm.
I would do it.
Not on the same level as it is in like Asian
that's
culture.
What I'm referring to. It's
I feel like there is like a societal obligation, like to take care, because we always talk about, you take care of your kids and your elders. Like, respect your elders. You take care of your parents. Like, not in the same way, because we're like, oh, well, some people are just like, oh, put them in a home.
I told Eli to put me in a home. Put me in a home, man.
I'll be dead before then.
I'm going to be long dead with any luck.
Yeah, one of my greatest fears is very similar to Lexana. I don't want to die before I die. I want to live up until my final day of life.
I've worked with a guy at the bridge, 72 years old. Was our outside supervisor.
Yeah.
Hardest working man. He was spry. And I'm like, person, why haven't you retired? He goes, because I don't want to die.
And there's a lot of truth to that.
He said,
you retire.
Everybody else that I know around me that's retired has died or they should be dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, I want to be the guy who's streaking in the old folks' home at 90 years old.
Hell yeah. The Steel Panther song.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
A gangbang at the old folks' home.
I don't know if I want to do that. I'll pass on that.
I'm in.
But so going back to this culture, right? So his culture, you die at 60. And you do that because you don't want to be a drain on your kids. And also, it's a way to pass. I do think there is something to be said, because another argument you can be made is our culture, especially now, especially in the political landscape, they do not pass the torch. We have 80-year-old people being the president of the United States who have no idea what it's like to live in the current context of the United States. We have politicians who have served 45 years and have seen their wealth exponentially grow.
Term limits for everybody. I like it.
And this is also happening in the church, where you don't see as much of the older generation, but it used to be the younger generation. It used to be the older generation got out of the way to let the younger generation step up. They stopped getting out of the way, and the younger people are like, screw this. I'm out. You guys are a hot mess.
People
so
love
we don't
power,
want to deal
man.
with it. So there's something to be said. There's like even in the United Methodist Church, we have a mandatory retirement age where there's a
48
ages.
Where you have to retire. No ifs, ands, or buts. No, I love it. It's
60?
great. No, it's like 67, I think, is the mandatory retirement age.
Okay. I'm wearing a shirt. It's BJ Barham. He's the lead singer for a band called American Aquarium. I went and saw him a little while ago.
Oh, look at me. I go to concerts.
No, I didn't listen to their music. One of my brother's favorites.
Yeah.
He was just doing like a solo thing. Him and a guitar, singing songs, telling the stories that inspired the songs and everything. American Aquarium has a song. This goes to what Rob was talking about with the gentleman that you worked with.
Yeah, 70. Yeah.
It's called The Curse of Growing Old. And he tells the story. It's about his grandmother who they celebrated her 90th or 92nd birthday.
Yeah.
And she was kind of like miserable. They gathered to celebrate her 90th birthday, celebrating her life, and just like, oh, this is amazing, it's great. And she told him, he told a story that she said, there's a curse in getting old because everybody that you love, you've seen everybody die.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard. Yes.
And you're to
Not
be
me.
the only one left.
Outliving them all the motherfuckers.
I think about that with my grandmother, right? She outlived her husband. And
to
she
see
outlived
everybody
some of
you've
her
ever
children.
loved like live and die.
Yeah. That would be hard.
Like she's like, it's not a celebration to me, it's a curse.
Yeah.
That reminded me of that. And it's like I'd never even considered that kind of a perspective for like an old person.
On a different note.
Right.
Every funeral I go to, I go, I outlived you, you son of a bitch. I outlived you.
Yeah, I win.
I win.
I'm sure.
Prayers, rest in peace. I win.
And I'm sure there's some
Scoreboard,
example,
motherfucker.
There's some probably survivor's guilt that comes into it.
Sure,
Like,
absolutely.
very similar to someone who was in the towers on September 11th and got out, right?
I can
Like,
only
the
imagine.
guilt. Why did I survive? And this person with 3 children didn't.
Imposter syndrome almost.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's the same way. I know my grandmother, before she passed, had a little bit of that. Like, she buried all of her brothers and sisters. She was the last one. She was basically the last member of all of the extended family still alive.
Yeah.
And I think that weighs on you. It's gotta, right? Like, because, well, what's my purpose? I'm here for a purpose. So what is it? Why am I the last one? Is there a reason for this? And that's gotta weigh on you. So to just, flip the switch at 60, you don't have that problem, I guess, right? Unless you're a late bloomer and you don't find your purpose until you're 50 years old, and then you only got 10 years left.
Yeah, this day and age, 60 seems young.
It is.
This episode just reiterated that Jack Kevorkian was ahead of his time.
I love some of the quotes.
You're gonna get me yelled at
like
again.
The Timmison's quote that he had, like,
You're gonna get me yelled at again.
I like Timmison's quote, like, I'm a greater threat to my society than a dying sun, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of truth. Like, he's like, I'm close. I got the science. I am so close. And they're like, nah, sorry. Gotta die.
Didn't do it before 60. Sorry.
But then again, the people before you said they were close too, and they weren't, right?
So we killed him.
I can promise you when I say I'm close, I'm very close.
Come.
Do not come. But like, it's so funny when you put it in that context, how, and it's very similar to that episode we watched a few weeks back about the first contact. If a society isn't ready,
Happy First Contact
the
Day.
greatest danger, yes, happy first contact. The greatest danger is always societal calamity by overturning cultural standards rather than wars or whatever, right? Like, you come into a country and you say, this is no longer your way of life. People are going to be pissed, right? And that's what you don't have to die. That throws everything into question.
I did find it ironic that the episode after he was questioned about all of his mishaps about the what is it, the not the Federation but the
First contact.
the Prime Directive.
Prime Director, yeah.
He was like, "Listen, I'm gonna obey it this time. I can't overstep my boundaries.
Too soon, bro."
I was just on trial for that, so I'm not gonna get involved now.
How interesting though. Like, this applies. Man, we're seeing this a lot in our world now, right? Where here, it's okay. You have the United States right now supporting Israel, where Israel is committing like mass genocide against Palestinians, right? You have a president who's like, any bad talk against the Israelis will result in you being sent out of the country or whatever. You're a domestic terrorist and all that. And like, it makes me think about this idea, like, and our thing is like, well, it's not our place to interfere. They're doing what they need to do. But like, these terrible things are happening, or like in Africa, terrible things are happening in countries, in Asia, terrible. And we're constantly like, it's not our place. We're going to keep trading with them. Now, with a tariff rate, but we're going to keep trading. We're going to keep getting their oil. Saudi Arabia. It's not our place to judge what they do, but we do love that oil, right?
We don't want to drill right here.
Right.
Let's drill over there.
But it's like so funny how, like, to me, a little bit, like, there's a little bit, it works both ways with the Prime Directive, because there's a little bit of holier than thou energy, like, well, we're so advanced, we can't risk our advancements hurting you. But then there's a little bit of you guys are idiots. Like, we don't want to mess with you because it's going to cause too much of an inconvenience. And like, why can't they go to them and be like, you guys, we have this technology that allows people to live to like 130.
It's called leaving them the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you just leave? Can you just not kill them? If you don't put them in this gas chamber, they don't die. Hear me out. Just try not to do it for a week. See if they live.
Hey, yeah. Like, can we create some sort of new policy where it's like, we'll have a productiveness scale, and if you dip below a certain line now, maybe that's but like, this idea, like, this age is set, blows my mind.
It'd be hilarious if they were like explosive candles in their 60th birthday cake, and
Happy
every time
birthday.
and they just nobody figured it out. They're just like,
Everyone's dying at 60. I don't know what's
Why
going
does the government supply these candles?
It's just such a, like, I don't know. I think these are two banger episodes in what they tell us about our world and society, I think.
yes, because these are episodes with substance.
And we talked about this a month ago, before the cruise at least, where we missed episodes like this.
Yes, and I know we even got comments on it, like, I don't know why you guys hate TNGs. I know that I hate on TNG a lot more than our average listener.
Yeah.
And even you guys. I'm very critical of it, but it's because I have high expectations of it.
Because DS9 was so much better.
And so was Battlestar Galactica, and they were deeper shows, and they asked questions like this. They inspired conversation and discussion and discourse.
Joe, you have higher ratings this season than Rob and I do.
Don't let the numbers fool you.
Yeah. So higher ratings this season, higher ratings last season as well.
It's an anomaly.
Higher ratings the season before that.
I feel like you're fudging the numbers. That's
The
fuzzy
only
math.
season where you've been outrated was I gave season 1 a 4.72. You gave it a 4.62. Otherwise,
Exactly. See?
Rob gave season 1 a 4.14. So here, one final question I have
That's
about
what I was
this
saying. I
episode.
love TNG.
Didn't Timison in some ways make some pretty convincing arguments for why they do what they do?
Yeah.
Like, I felt
Yeah.
like it's like, yeah.
What's it's the thought that goes into writing these shows where you can make arguments where you kind of have to go, huh?
Right. And who is Luxana to say their culture is wrong, where he's not saying to her, girl, you are annoying and you sleep around a lot. Your culture is not cool, right? Like, he's not calling her out on the things he does. He is DTF.
Yeah. Down to fucking kill himself.
Yeah.
So sad.
No, but they
wonder
went
how-
out hand in hand, and then
And yeah,
they banged it out, and then
well, and
they're
here's
good.
one
That's
thing
the way I wanna
appreciate.
go
That's
out.
how he killed
Right.
himself.
That's how I want to go out.
But I will say, in Luxana's credit, for her to be against it and be like, I'm still going to support him and I'm going to be there for that. That's a big thing, right?
For sure.
To oppose what someone's going to do, but being like, look, you know how people are sometimes like, I support your decision. I don't agree with it, but I support your decision. And then they're like off on their own. She doesn't agree with it, but she supports it.
And I think
she's
that's
gonna
something
be
you
there.
can do.
And that's something that if you love someone, be
Yeah.
there for them.
Tick 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 tick.
That's what we call this episode. Tick, 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 tick. Do you guys recognize the actor, right?
No, I didn't. David Ogden
Played
Spears?
Major Winchester in MASH.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I didn't recognize.
Yep. It was Houlihan. What was her name? The blonde doctor.
Oh,
Hula.
Oh, the one that he was obsessed with.
Yeah, that was his buddy. What was her
Houlihan?
name?
Is it Houlihan?
maybe.
I think it's Houlihan.
Yeah. So, but it was a much more subdued portrayal. But yeah, MASH represented.
Okay. Anything else from?
I mean, we probably talked about this for a while. Mm-hmm. But I like that it provoked.
Yeah,
thought.
Margaret Houlihan.
Yeah, you provoked thought,
It did.
and it was nice to be able to
Who
talk
wrote
about
this one? This one was Peter Allen Fields,
Yeah, he did some DS9 too.
directed by Les Landau.
Yeah. So well executed episodes.
Yes, very good. This was an enjoyable week.
Yep.
I love that quote, Luxana's quote. A celebration of life sounds very noble, vote very caring. What you're really saying is you got rid of the problem by getting rid of the people, which is so true.
Yeah, there's just, like I said,
The people are the problem.
We can't have a problem with aging if we kill all the people who are old.
Exactly.
the writing.
It keeps everybody fresh. A fresh batch of people.
This is the only episode in TNG where Deanna Troy does the opening log. What is her log? My mother is here or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like
Personal
log.
log. My mother is aboard.
my mother. Yeah.
My mom.
And then you see
my
Picard just
mom's
pop out.
here.
My mom is here. Yeah. He is a good comedic actor.
Yeah.
He is, because he plays everything so straight all the time, and then when he doesn't, you're like, that's funny.
Don't
Yeah.
like that one episode where they wanted to all sex each other up with the doctor, and he's like,
And he's like, hey.
he's got the little hop in his wall. He like does a little skip.
does the little hop and heel click.
Yeah. All right, let's go to some reviews of these episodes. What ratings are we going to give the Drumhead?
Drum roll for the Drumhead, please.
Is that a drum roll or?
That's a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
What are you giving it, Rob?
Give me a second.
Hold on.
I'm gonna go 8. I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm going with 8.
8. Okay. Shoot. So my thing is like, I want to rate it higher, but I did not like the first 10, 15 minutes. So I think I'm probably an 8, but I want to rate it higher. I just can't.
I can't give it a 10.
No.
I want to give it a 9.5. I know.
Is it on the same level of litmus?
Well,
Those-
not every
those-
9.5 is the same.
Yeah, not every night. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Okay.
I thought I had very little criticisms of this
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
I thought it was an excellent all around.
8.5 actually.
No, we don't do that.
He already did. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're still.
You can still do that because we're still on that episode. You
You
can
want to put yourself in as an 8.5 too. You know what? Half points all around for us.
No, I'm pretty happy with my answer to an 8 on that one.
Okay.
Because I feel like even though I love this is the first one that Frakes directed too, isn't it? First.
No, he did like Offspring or
So
something like that
Frakes
before.
did amazing with this episode.
Yep.
Gotta keep them separated.
But I have some minor qualms with some things, so I'm
Sure.
gonna stick with the 8.
15 minutes.
Gotcha. Man,
Man, see?
I'm Walla Nicholas.
Half a life. I'll give Half a Life. It's definitely the weaker of the two.
Oh, definitely.
But not significantly weaker. But I'll give it a 7.
I was gonna go 7-2. Dang it.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
Okay.
I was high on these episodes.
Yeah. So high.
Gentlemen,
I was Snoop Dogg high on these episodes, man.
we've had 3 decent episodes in a row. Cupid, The Drumhead, and Half a Life.
That means next
I
week's
think
gonna stink.
the nth degree we didn't rate very poorly, did we?
6 and 6 5s.
So not bad.
But a week before that was Night Terrors. I can't see you. We should get that on our soundboard.
I don't have a lot of faith for next week's episodes either.
The Host in the Mind's Eye. Ooh.
I can't remember them off the 100% off what I'm thinking, but I don't have a lot. My instinct is like,
The Host sounds dubious.
Yeah, there's something about that, right? Oh my gosh, I remember this one.
Say less.
Dr. Crusher in Love.
Dr. Crusher crushing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dick.
April 25th, Star Trek Jeopardy over on our YouTube channel. Check it out.
April
Please hit that
25th.
subscribe.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Friday.
Nice.
So watch
Friday
it.
lunch.
Tell some friends. Help us out here with this project that we did. And we just learned for episode 2, questions for a certain category are going to be written by the non-visitor.
Friend of the show, Nana visitor.
We should ask her if she wants to read the questions.
Ooh.
We shouldn't put that on the air. Never mind.
Show meeting.
No pressure. Maybe we won't ask her that. So if she doesn't do it, then we didn't ask her. If she does do it, we didn't ask her. She just did it.
Yeah, it's true. Volunteered.
I don't know what I just did there. Schrodinger's cat.
So that was really cool. I said an idea. I told her an idea I had for the category, and she goes, "Well, I'll write the questions if you don't mind." Mm-hmm. I was like, "Bet."
Do it.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly what I
Wow.
said.
He broke out slang.
Bet.
Broke out slang.
That's one I can get behind though.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good like short jab
Yeah.
that's like, I agree with you.
Bet, Glizzy.
Yeah.
Glizzy's a good one.
No, I
Well,
don't
gentlemen,
Glizzy.
this episode has come to an end. That's where you're supposed to say bet.
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 This was Nick.
This is still Rob.
This was Joe.
And thanks for keeping up with us today. Join us on Patreon. We got that $2 and $5 tier. We'd love to have you.
Probably gonna put
Yeah, go
Jeopardy
yell
on
at us
first.
there.
Yeah.
Like, rate us, subscribe.
That's what all the cool kids do.
We'd love to hear you from you. Take care, everyone. Bye.